but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know. Come on, baby, let the good time roll.
In episode 2, we got called up to AAA. So you can take a look at how the AA team has done with us on its roster, and take a look at how the AAA team has done up to this point. Both teams in very similar situations, a few games out of first place, around 500. Same thing with the Royals, they're 5 games under 500, but they're only a couple games out as the Tigers lead that division, but only at 14 and 12. And take a look at my AA stats here. I want you to pay attention to the last stat here on the screen. It's going to pop up towards the end, and it's our hits against lefties and righties. We ended up allowing 23 of our 28 hits against righties, only 5 of 28 against lefties. That's a big discrepancy right there, so that's something interesting to kind of take a look at. But anyway, the gameplay you're seeing is going to be my first couple of AAA appearances out of the bullpen, and then at the end I do get my first AAA start. But I'm not going to talk about that for the most part. What I'm going to talk about is MLB free agency. MLB free agency started, assuming this video goes up on Wednesday, then it will have started yesterday at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time. Free agency starts, and it's going to be an interesting class of free agents. There aren't a lot of big names. You get past Robinson Cano and Jacoby Ellsbury, and after that, I'm not really too sure who's gonna be the next $100 million man. You could think about maybe Shin-Soo Choo. Other than that, I don't think anyone's going to get towards $100 million in total money. But anyway, it's just interesting to see. But it's kind of a weak free agent class for top-tier guys. It's a deep one for mid-tier guys, though. There's a lot of guys out there. If you look at the 2013 equivalents of, you know, what in 2012 were maybe the Shane Victorinos and the Mike Napoli's of the world, you know, you kind of have like a Johnny Peralta and Omar Infante, just to name a couple, Ricky Nolasco. You could look at guys like that who are probably going to command, I don't know, like 3-year, 4-year, $50-ish million deals. They're going to get somewhere between 11 and 15 million a year. You get towards Brian McCann, he could be looking at a little bit more than that. Kind of depends on how people value his catching ability along with his age, whether or not they're going to have to move him, and whether or not his production is going to, you know, do well in a first base spot or a DH spot. But anyway, it's just a very interesting free agent class. I'm kind of excited for it. This is a big offseason for the Red Sox, as they kind of have to balance winning now, as well as they have these young pitchers, and they have a couple young hitters that they want to get into the lineup and into the rotation that they're gonna have to find a place for if they want to keep on progressing them. But nonetheless, it's gonna be interesting free agency, and I'm really looking forward to it. Off season for me being kind of like almost like a wannabe GM, and that like I always do all these associations and franchises and stuff. For me, the off season is always my favorite part in those series, and I certainly look forward to the off season for really any sport, especially baseball and basketball, just because I really can, you know, I guess go into depth with them, and it's a lot of fun. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a really good free agency. For me personally, being a big Red Sox fan, I want them to re-sign Stephen Drew on a 1-year deal, if possible, if he takes that qualifying offer. If he wants multi-years, I'm not re-signing him, because I want him for 1 year, because we have this top third. I say we. Some people get mad when I say we. I apologize if that. I'll try to stray away from saying that. But the Red Sox have a top third base prospect, and he is due up around 2015. So then they can move Bogarts back to shortstop. That could be the left side of the infield for the future. That's what I'm thinking. If Drew wants multi-years, he can go get that from the Yankees or the Cardinals or something. I'm not offering him I'm not offering him multiple years, but I also really want to get them to re-sign Mike Napoli. That's kind of my biggest player that I want them to re-sign. And then Jacoby Ellsbury and Saltalamacchia. Ellsbury, I'm not paying him more than, I don't know, $100 million flat, and it's going to take way more than that to get him. So I'm just getting ready to say goodbye to Jacoby Ellsbury. And Jared Saltalamacchia, and I don't really like the guy, quite frankly. I just think he's really bad defensively. And I want defense out of my catching position personally. You know, he hits 273. That's pretty good for a catcher. He's a switch hitter, but he's awful against lefties. So, you know, it's just kind of, if he goes, I'm not going to shed a tear or anything like that. So anyway, but that's that. Let me know what your favorite team is, and if you want them to re-sign, you know, free agent X or free agent Y. I know there's some big free agents out there that are coming off of a lot of teams, like Carlos Beltran's a free agent. I mentioned Johnny Peralta and Omar Infante earlier. Nelson Cruz, a big power bat in that Rangers lineup. Ricky Nolasco helped kind of solidify and stabilize that Dodgers rotation. He's going to be a free agent. That'll be interesting. There's also a lot of trade candidates out there, like a Cliff Lee or a Giancarlo Stanton, or I know the Rockies have talked about trading Troy Tulowitzki and or Gonzalez, excuse me. And it's going to be an interesting offseason. I think there are going to be more big names out there in trade talks than there will be in free agency. But I'm also interested in where you guys think Robinson Cano is going to end up. That is one that I cannot figure out right now. The Dodgers don't seem like they're interested due to the Clayton Kershaw deal that they're going to have to re-sign him to, as well as if they end up making a trade for David Price and they want to extend him. That's going to take another $200 million. So they're probably not going to have the money to get Robinson Cano. After that, who's going to pay him, you know, let's say he doesn't get 10 years, $300 million. Let's say he gets 10 years, $250 million. Who's going to pay him that? I don't, maybe the Angels. I know they have a lot of money, but I feel like they've kind of swung and missed on those type of deals in the past, and I don't think they're going to go back there again. You know, after that, who really else is out there that's going to pay them that much money? I mean, the Cubs? Nah, they're not going to shell out that much cash. I mean, I honestly don't know. Maybe the Mets. I don't know. Where do you guys think he's going to end up? You know, he's going to have to take a lot less money if he wants to go play for, you know, whatever team he wants. But we'll see. That's kind of the biggest question mark going into the offseason for me. And I haven't heard a lot of talk about him recently. But anyway, I never realized how quickly free agency came after the baseball season. Now, being a Red Sox fan, the Red Sox have had postseason success in the past, but in the last few years they haven't been in the playoffs. The last playoff appearance before this year was 2009. They got swept in the ALDS. So for the last couple of years, I've kind of been used to the season ending and then getting 3 or 4 weeks before free agency starts. But it was like it starts 5 days after Game 6 of the World Series this year, and that was just like very surprising to me. But anyway, I did not expect that. I just comparing it to the NBA. NBA free agency starts a couple weeks. Well, actually, I guess it's not that far past the deadline. I don't know. I guess I just never realized it, but nonetheless, it's whatever. But anyway, let's kind of get into the gameplay right here. So we're coming out of the bullpen still. One thing that we're really struggling with is inherited runners. I'm kind of having to adjust to having guys on right when I come in the game. So my inherited runner percentage of them scoring was probably like in the 90s. I mean, I think I allowed like every inherited runner to come in. But after that, we settled down, and you know, one of the reasons why ERA is kind of a stupid stat to look at for relievers is this exact reason, because you know I allowed all these inherited runners to come home, but I didn't allow a lot of the guys that I was responsible for, and my ERA kind of reflected that. But nonetheless, here's a deep line shot. It wasn't that deep. It's caught by the left fielder, and that is the third and final out of the inning. So we're playing for the Omaha Storm Chasers, the Kansas City Royals AAA organization, and it's been pretty good so far. Like I said, we've had a lot of inherited runners, but our stats look pretty good, quite frankly. You know, with that ERA being down, we haven't allowed too many hits. We kind of settle in once we get like an inning or two into our outing. Maybe that's a product of us not being warm enough to come in. I don't know what it is. A lot of the times guys struggle to go between the rotation and the bullpen, back and forth, back and forth. That's a deep shot to right field, and that ball is gone. A home run. We do not allow a lot of home runs, but we allowed a couple here at the AAA level. Obviously, things are going to get harder. We're not a high overall yet, and because of that, I don't really want to get called up to the majors right away. I'm only like a 64 right now, and if I'm a 64 overall going up against Major League Hitting, that's not going to end well. So I kind of want to stay in AAA for maybe a couple advancement goals, maybe go up in September or something like that. I want to get to like a 73, 4, 5-ish before I go up there. I mean, I'm pretty confident in my ability to pitch, but nonetheless, here is the advancement goal period, and we are going into the starting rotation. Just one advancement period spent in the bullpen was enough for them to realize that we are best going to be used in the rotation for this team. So, our final stats in the bullpen, we went 2-0 with a 2.31 ERA. Not too bad, but like I said, we were just not very effective with inherited runners. But check it out here. Jonny Legend getting ready to get promoted to the starting rotation. There are the final stats. 11 2/3, 3 earned runs, 12 hits, and 12 strikeouts. That was nice to see. And you can take a look at the pitching matchup for today's start. This is going to be the last kind of game of the episode. We are 2-0. We're going up against David Cabrera. He is 1, or no, he was not 1-0. I don't know what he was, but he has like a 4-ish ERA, so we clearly are the better pitcher for this matchup. We'll see how that goes, though. Christian Yelich up here. First pitch of the at-bat. That is going to be strike one. Now here we go. Next pitch, 0-1 count. Ball one on the sinker, down and away. Now that is going to be another strike right there. 1-2 count coming up. We try to throw the hook, but he fouls it off, so 1-2 count. And we're going to try and throw outside with some heat, trying to switch it up, location, speed, all that good stuff. He lays off a sinker right there. 2-2 is the count. Putting up a good at-bat. He fouls that one away. Don't really know what to throw at him now. I'm starting to throw the kitchen sink at him. Another down and away curveball. That's going to be fouled off. 2-2 count once again. Fastball up and in. Cannot get him there. So like I said, trying to switch locations, switch all that good stuff. He barely makes contact with that pitch, but now here we go in the 2-2 once again. He finally pops this one up. This was actually a pretty good shot and an up and away fastball, but that is going to be caught by the center fielder. Wasn't that bad by Christian Yelich, though. Looking good in that Marlins farm system. He got called up at the end of the year for the real-life Marlins and was okay. He played pretty well. He had really good spurts, and I just think that he looked pretty good in the couple of games that I saw him play. But nonetheless, we get another strikeout right there. Now here we go, 1-2 count, still bottom of the 4th inning. That is going to be lined into center field for a base hit. That is the leadoff man. We have been perfect up to this point, 9 up, 9 down, but we finally allow a base hit. Now 2 away in the inning, still runner on first, 0-1 count. That is hit into deep left field, and that is a no-doubt shot, a 2-run homer, and we allow our first couple of runs of our AAA starting career. Here's a Dene Hechavarria up the next batter, 1-2 count. He's going to ground this one out to the shortstop. And no, it's actually going to be bobbled, of course, because AAA fielders are pretty bad in this game. They make a lot more errors than they should, but anyway, still bottom 4. First pitch of the AB, runner is going, and the Marlins did a great job. Even though Hechavarria gets thrown out there, the Marlins did a phenomenal job of making me work in this ball game. And here we go, Christian Yelich up. He lines that one to the first baseman. And, like, well, I don't know what happened there. I don't know. This was a very frustrating game. We had that long at-bat to Yelich, and we had a couple of, like, errors. It was just a frustrating game, but we ended up only being able to give them 5 and, I believe, a third innings. There were 2-run innings. It was okay, but we only gave them 5 and a third, and I don't know, it was just a rough start. We definitely didn't have our A stuff, I wouldn't say. I would say more than we didn't have our A stuff. I think the Marlins lineup, the whatever they are, the New Orleans Zephyrs, I think that they were just really good lineup. They were putting in really good at-bats. We threw a lot of pitches. You can see we ended up throwing, what's that, like 90 pitches in just 5 2/3 innings. I don't know, it was very good lineup. But nonetheless, that's pretty much going to do it for us. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. Come back next time for some more AAA starts. Hopefully we can get that call up to the big soon. Like I said, not too soon, but obviously that's the end goal. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you did enjoy. Peace.